is that you're going to need to be using a combination of units to fight out the air. So pretty much what that's going to be naturally is you're going to have your Stalkers because you have your Cybernetic X core, and then a couple of Phoenixes are really nice to throw in the mix too, because sometimes there'll be some weak Mutas, and Phoenixes are really good at chasing down. They can shoot while they fire, do some barrel rolls and stuff, so the Phoenixes are great to put in there, and he is just massing on the Phoenixes right now. So looking at the army size, it looks like Eclipse is a little bit ahead. As he should. TikTok did lose a sizable amount of his army there, and this is a lot of Mutas. So I don't think a Blink Stalker army would ever be able to take this out. I mean, you would really need a lot more Stalkers than he has Mutas if you're ever going to take this out. So that's why I almost always put down at least one Stargate. In TikTok's case, he put down 3 for to counter mass Muta. Since he does have this expansion, probably 1 or 2 Stargates is not a bad idea. So here comes the Mutas across this position. He is going to get in this base safely. There's nothing to stop these Mutas, and they are going on the mineral line right now. A couple of probes going down. These Mutas are just slapping these probes down, and they are running back to the expansion right now. This Nexus is just getting beaten down at the moment. Here come the Phoenixes, and that's what I'm talking about. If you move them away, they can keep firing and shooting. So they are just really good against Mutas because it's hard for Mutas to chase Phoenixes down since they can just keep shooting like this, and for Mutas it's a little bit harder to do that. So very nice play by TikTok. He was able to defend that a little bit, and tons of Zealots out here, so I'm not sure where he was going with those. Maybe he was trying to attack the ground force while he knew the air was here, but he's moving the Zealots back right now. More Phoenixes being trained, and where are these probes going? I'm not sure. High yield expansion. He is taking a high yield right now, so he is going to be taking this base, and that's really going to help him in the economy game. Eclipse does have this expansion, and like I've been saying, I mean, I don't understand why Eclipse doesn't have more saturation here. It's really not worth getting. I mean, it is worth getting an expansion, but he could be getting much more use out of this expansion than he is, both of these expansions. So I'm not sure really what Eclipse is thinking at the time, but I guess they are. I mean, he has more harvesters than TikTok does, so I'm not sure where all these drones are, but he's got a bunch apparently. So here comes the battle. Sorry, I missed this. Here are all the Mutas going on this army right here, and a couple of Phoenixes do go down, but that is just so many Mutalisks to deal with. Without these Phoenixes, TikTok would already be overrun. No question about that. So he is now putting pressure on the Zerg player. He does not want those Mutas to go back into his base, so TikTok is going for a full frontal assault right now, and he is doing really good on the ground front right now. So Muta's coming in a little bit late in the battle, but that is a lot of Mutas. He might actually be able to fend this off. TikTok is in a tough position. A great micro with those Phoenixes. Oh my god, all those Mutas are dead right now. So TikTok actually doing a great job here. He was pretty much able to take down this entire force, and even Overlord's getting picked off right now. There's nothing to stop this Protoss force right now. Tons of Zerglings are being produced. 13 Mutas are being produced, and those Zealots are just going to town on these drones. They are just having a blast right now. And there's a couple of drones running back home. Get back here, drones. Where do you think you're going? And yeah, just tons of Mutas being produced at the moment. TikTok just took this base out. Like I said, the power of those Phoenixes is just immense. Here are some Mutas, but I think TikTok with some good micro is still going to be able to deal with this. Yeah, the Zerg player realizes that, and here comes an eager Beaver Queen. He is totally going to go down, and not even a fight. There, Mutas are safe for now. I think TikTok should have pushed in. I'm not sure why he stopped right here, but he definitely has this advantage. I think TikTok should have just kept going and bring in a bunch of probes. I'm not sure if this is a little bit of miss micro. Oh, this is what's going on. TikTok is getting hit right here by some Zerglings. So Zergling Strike Force was going to this high yield expansion, and TikTok making 50 billion photon cannons right now and supply capping the Zerg player. Oh, and Hydra's finally coming out on the battlefield. So great counter to these Phoenixes. Those Hydras are definitely going to negate some of that mobility around this base, and this is pretty much going to be free reign for TikTok as well. Going to easily be able to levitate that Queen, levitate some drones, and the Zerg player is moving pretty fast in the creep, so he's not going to have all that much time to do a lot of damage. And Stalker's going straight on this hatchery, but they are unfortunately going to be killed by these Hydralisks right now. So here come the Phoenixes. They are just war-hardened veterans right now. Look at these guys. 6 kills, 3 kills, 0 kills. Dude, you're not pulling your weight. And so TikTok finally taking this high yield back. He was in a little bit of a flurry to put these photon cannons down, but I always like to build a pylon back behind my mineral line and then make some photon cannons out here, because what that does is it forces the Zerg player to be funneled, and it also gives almost complete coverage of this mineral field right here. When you're playing a PvT though, I would definitely recommend using these ledges for siege tanks and trying to hold this and trying to assault that way. It's really difficult for a Protoss player to defend against that. And it looks like TikTok is still going to be trying to supply cap this guy and even kill a couple of queens. So that is just a really annoying thing to do. He's killed at least 3 queens right now. That Phoenix is doing a barrel roll right now and did not kill that Mutalist, but was able to get that queen at least. So Equips right now is a pretty good force. Looking at what TikTok has, he has a bunch of Phoenixes, a bunch of Zealots. I mean, he can take this if he lifts off some of this army here. I mean, you got to think about it. Although Hydras counter Phoenixes pretty well, if you could pretty much lift off half of this Hydra army and then have the rest of your army attack what's left, and then take it that way. It's almost like using a force field to split up forces, if you want to think about it like that, because it lets you deal with the army in 2 sizes, so it's much more manageable. And Zealots now charging in front of here, and these Hydras are killing a lot of Zealots right now. TikTok moving back to the safety of his photon cannons, and these Hydras are like, F that, dude, I'm not assaulting those photon cannons. And in production right now, it looks like we see a Dark Shrine for TikTok, so he's definitely going to be getting some Dark Templar. I always love to see Dark Templar, especially late in the game like this when it's really not expected and it can throw the Zerg player off. So this drone thinks he's like a badass or something. I don't know what he's doing out here, but a Nexus is definitely going to go down. I mean, he's probably just scouting. So a Hydralist party is here. TikTok does see that this is coming. This base is also pretty well D'd. Is that Dark Shrine going to be sniped out? I don't think so. I don't think Eclipse sees it just yet. And yes, he is going right for that. He's going for the photon cannons right now. Zealots are charging at the moment, and Stalkers are getting on this army too. And TikTok decided not to lift off these Hydralists. He does just now. I feel like he could have done that a little bit sooner, and this Dark Templar's under inspection or something, probably evaded some taxes. But I guess he's off the hook for now. So DTs and Phoenixes and Stalkers are being made right now, and what's being produced for the Zerg player, I don't see any Overseers being made, so I'm not sure what's up with that, man. But here is another expansion, and Eclipse again with his like 15 saturation base. I'm not sure why he doesn't put more drones on here. I guess he just likes to make tons of bases and then mine off of them. But this base is for sure going down. A couple of Hydralists coming into the fray. He probably shouldn't have sent these guys in because they're just going to die very easily. So TikTok using that Graviton Beam right now to take down those Hydralisks. And at this point of the game, I don't really think there's much Eclipse can do, so yeah, it's pretty much over. So I'm going to give a short little recap right now. So I liked this matchup because it showed how you deal with Phoenixes as a Protoss player. It's to me, I think, almost impossible to beat Mass Muta without getting Phoenixes. And TikTok showed the power of them very well here. In conjunction with what we naturally have, since it's slow to hard tech or hard switch against Mass Muta like that. He was using his Stalkers, he was using Sentries, and even back here, I didn't mention it, but he did have a force field with his Sentries, and he was actually dancing his Phoenixes around the force field while he was attacking the Mutas. So force field actually does prevent damage against air units too. So I always like to get Sentries against Mutalists. That's always a really nice touch. So Phoenixes, Sentries, and Stalkers, and you'll be able to deal with Mass Muta pretty much the entire game. Now the question is, what do you do once he gets Mass Hydras? Now one thing you could do is, since you already have a Twilight Council at the time, is you could go High Templar. That's not a bad idea, but it looks like TikTok decided to go Dark Templar because he felt like he'd be able to end the game soon enough if he throws that hook in there. So I would definitely recommend some kind of switch. Colossus would be okay too, but it takes a long time for Colossus to be constructed. High Templar would be a little bit quicker. Although you are sacrificing a little bit of mobility because High Templar are pretty slow. So that's just my 2 cents there. So some good things from TikTok was he was taking this high yield expansions. He did not give up after his proxy rush failed, and you saw that he was able to take the game, and he was in a pretty comfortable position, even right when the Zerg player immediately countered it after that, because the Zerg player just didn't have the economy to make a hard push and put a lot of his resources in that early defense. So thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, I am gonna be always putting up some more games. I have some more time lately, so I was able to do a cast for y'all today. And if you enjoyed this video or watched my videos in the past, please subscribe so that way you will know when I post a new game. So thank you guys so much, and stay tuned for the next episode of Maze Esports.